Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun! The show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, it's time to put on your robe and wizard hat. It's Ichi the Witch. Welcome, everybody. It is I, your wacky witch, Kermit the Grog, here with my hermit hunter co-host, Isekai Sensei-Sama. Brad, how you doing?
I mean, I'm here.
We got you out of your hermit hole. And it's a new clutch of Shonen Jump magazine manga.
One of three,
the first of them.
Make sure you're subscribed.
You keeping up? We are now with our new release schedule. We are getting them the week they come out and releasing them. I'm recording every week for you people.
Hopefully
you listen to it.
Hopefully it's not 3 weeks in a row all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's like we have an entire arc recorded for you that you will not get to hear until we finish these. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself, literally, or maybe behind myself. So this dropped today, hours ago, at time of recording, which is September 8th, 2024. We are hours from this dropping in America. I'd say legally, but I don't think anybody's getting leaked versions of this and scanlating it. There's no money involved.
There seems to only be
piece.
Limited series that get leaked like that.
Did something else get leaked?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, oh yeah, but that's series that are ongoing that everybody needs to know what happens next. In the way that I get to read One Piece early in the week because however it comes out. But nobody's leaking a series that has just started.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So this...
We're on the same page.
Okay, cool. Sorry. This is what happens when we don't warm up properly beforehand. We rush to do this before dinner. So if memory serves, this new clutch of manga is from Jujutsu Kaisen unexpectedly ending.
Well, unexpectedly for everyone that isn't in the company. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. And of series we have covered, Kyukoto Necromance. Who saw that coming? And a favorite of the podcast, Psych House.
Psych House ended today.
Yeah, just a nice, warm, sad hug of a goodbye.
Yeah. But we've still got Astro Royale.
I know. Seeing your heart turn on that makes me so happy because you were so forgiving of it, and you just shouldn't have been.
It's like out of. I don't really want most of them to end, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I would much rather them go someplace else than end because I'm like, there's worth to these. They do have some worth. I wish, and I understand that Shonen Jump can only be so big, so you have to. There is
the cutthroat nature is supposed
it is
to
competitive.
The competition is supposed to ferment things that are stronger.
But I wish it could live someplace else.
Yeah.
Astro Royale, I wish would go someplace else.
Really? Oh, I was hoping you would say I wish would die.
There's worth to it.
I'm sure you'd find worth in the bottom of a trash can.
There's been a couple that I'm like, yeah.
Wow, we're getting there. But yes, this is Ichi the Witch, and before we get into it, we need to have one of my patented Kermit speedrun summaries.
Ichi means one.
I thought that was is it? I guess because he's the spoilers. I can't talk about that until we finish the summary.
Well, his name was Ichi since.
Yes, but I think
the villagers anyway.
They call him. People call him by his name, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself. A boy tells us he is thankful for nature, all life in the world, and he is so excited to hunt it all. Splash page. On Druid Mountain, we see a large moose caribou-looking thing in a field of flowers. The boy from earlier bursts forth from the flowers with a knife and kills it. Cut down to the village, and everybody's really impressed and thankful for him dispatching this creature, who supposedly kicked. I like that they translated it as it kicked people to death and not stomped on or stampeded or just hit, because a moose will mess you up, and this was a giant fantasy moose.
Actually, I think it was a normal sized moose.
Oh, okay, good
Moose
point.
are really big.
They're very large. If you hit one with your car, you are dying and the moose is walking away.
Yeah.
He who dispatches creature is Ichi, Master Hunter. Ichi sees some young girls he knows leaving in a carriage to go take the test at the capital. One girl specifically asks if he will always live in the mountains and why he can't live in the village where everybody loves him, but he says he still has things he wants to do. As he heads home, we get a flashback of him being left alone in the woods as a 6-year-old with just that knife. He tried to survive, but on the brink of sanity, he tries to use the knife to kill himself, but then a crazy wolf shows up, which, clinging to life, he auto-stabs to death. Since then, he's become a great hunter, living in the mountains and loved by the townsfolk. But that bit of business is this massive sleeping creature he found in the forest. He could tell it was powerful and could kill easily, but wasn't sure if it had killed yet. Then we learn Ichi's internal motto, death for death, which is basically stand your ground home defense. If you're coming at me, you're done for.
Castle Doctrine.
Okay, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's rad. He wants that to kick in on the creature so he can hunt it. In a cutaway, it awakes. Now we're following the girls in the carriage train. They're being told they must stop for an emergency magic warning. Magic spelled with a J and a K because that's, I think, the thing that really made it feel young adult lit. Because I know I've read a book that was very similar to that.
See, that specifically refers to the beings that are magic.
I know, but like making a word but changing the letters and now it means something different.
Okay.
Feels very, I mean, I guess anything could do it, but it feels very like I've read that when I was a teenager.
But a lot of times
what it is.
the authors like to rename
the
superpowers that people have to something that's...
Quirks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever they call it in Astro Royale.
Yeah.
What do they call it in Astro Royale?
Astros.
Oh, that's dumb.
But I wanted to point that out specifically because the way that they spelled it that time, that's specifically referring to the creature.
The creatures. They also use the word magic, M-A-G-I-C, to talk about magic, but magics are also creatures, which is very hard to capture on an audio podcast.
Indeed.
They all want to see it because if there is a magic, that means the witches will be here, and be here they do. I have I wrote these names down and I shouldn't have, even when I wrote them. I don't know how to spell this. My brain keeps saying it's Descartes, but it's not because there's no T. It's like
I skipped over them.
Discaris the Abyssal Witch.
Discaris?
I should have Googled because I'm sure it's from something, but I'm sure it's also like mangled something else.
We don't know if these names are important yet, so...
This one feels important because this is the other character from the splash page besides Ichi. Is out in the field, and another witch named Monogold the Aret Witch... He's on mirror comms, as in she's like an HQ and is seemingly interacting via magical mirrors. We then get a PSA that magic is alive, the regular spelling. Magics, the J spelling, first contacted humanity long ago. They posed grueling challenges to humans, and if they succeeded, they got to wield that power. More witches show up as people are evacuated, and the battle starts. We learn the large creature is King Uroro, the king of magics. And he knows and banters with Discaris, the big witch from the splash page. He refused to let any witch challenge him, and instead went about destroying and killing for seemingly no reason but sheer boredom. Discaris attempts to stab him, but it doesn't work for "No woman can scratch my heart," quoting from him.
I think saying attempts to stab him is downplaying it a little bit.
Yeah.
She uses like the most powerful stabbing magic possible or something.
It don't work. It bounces off. But then, as expected, Ichi shows up and stabs him in the heart, declaring, "I'm a man!" Well, first the beast falls into a big rope track Ichi sent, then death for death kicks in, and then the stabby stab. Ichi then gets kitted out in a witch outfit, then some unclear stab action happens, and a barrier is mentioned. I had to clarify this in Flop Chat. So, I think the witch is like going to stab him, because it's like, who is this dangerous person who's just showed up? And his death for death kicks in, and he auto tries to stab her, and he stabs her barrier instead. And then he attempts to...
kicked, though.
What?
I think he was kicking her, but...
Maybe. It was like visually difficult for me to understand what was happening over these next 2 pages. Because then also it seemed like he cast a big fire blast spell that maybe is the one she cast. I wasn't really sure. I have not been this visually confused in a while on a manga. All the witches are freaking out, both there and through mirror portals, because dudes aren't supposed to be able to use magic, but here we are with the magic, J, that only a dude could do who's strong enough to actually handle the power, and here we are at the end of chapter 1.
So, there's a lot to unpack here. I guess I'll start with which king of Angmar no man can kill me, and then Eowyn comes in and stabs him in the face.
But what if it was reversed?
Or what if it was reversed?
But it's not as interesting because the patriarchy exists. So having a man to be the one, I don't know. We'll see. But I think
this is a matriarchy.
Yeah, but in like a bigger societal sense of like our society, not their society. But I think I read from Plot Chat that the author was a woman. Is a woman.
Okay.
She didn't stop being a woman or died. She did not do that either. She's got a manga to write. But also that this is a writer-artist team-up. This is not a singular writer-artist. They are two different humans, which I don't think we've seen in Jump for a while.
So that generally makes sense to me when I see something like this that is so pretty. Because it's like, the artist is spending more time on this than they would be able to if they were also writing it.
Correct.
And so that's the second thing I wanted to say, which was I'm surprised you had trouble following it because I actually thought it was really well laid out and I followed it the whole time.
Through all of it?
Yeah.
I literally only mean at that ending segment where it's like she goes to stab him, but then she doesn't, and then he stabs, and then he casts fire. Like, it was literally only that segment. Everything else I understood exactly what was going on, and it was framed well.
But no, I got that part too. It was
that bit at the end where I was just like, I'm confused about what's happening.
Yeah, she was just putting her sword next to him to be like, don't move because you just absorbed the king of magic. Yeah, because
then she also says, like, don't move, don't make any sound, like, don't cause chance, but he's like, I don't know what magic is. I'm freaking out. What's going on?
And then he does a chant because as soon as you absorb one of the magics,
you get magic.
They immediately teach you what the chants are.
I wonder if he knows all of them now because this was the king of all of them. Because each of them individually seemed like, oh, drink all this water and you get water power, or like hold this fire thing for a while, or walk in the wind. And maybe because he was the king of all of them, he had all of them.
Maybe. But yeah, and then so because he felt hostility, he automatically counterattacked.
Yeah.
Which was, I'm pretty sure, him kicking.
No, he stabs because his knife is in her barrier block.
Okay. I thought he was kicking, but
no.
Maybe.
See, that's not, that's again. I don't think we've been this like visually confused about what literally happened on the page, so I don't know. It was.
I didn't think I was confused until just now.
There was other action that was not confusing, so that's why it was like extra confusing that I was confused all of a sudden because everything was like, oh, I get what's going on, even when action scenes were happening. So,
yeah, but yeah, I'm all about this. I'm on board. I like this. Yeah. Now,
I mean, we're very much in your territory of semi-fantasy, like a fantasy magical setting. There's a magical system.
Yeah.
There's beasts, there's villages and city and townsfolk and all that. Like, this is very much by virtue of isekais and the otome stuff, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah. And I will say the fact that he's obviously gaining this immense power immediately.
Right out of the gate.
Is very much...
On top of his power that he already has. It's very... Well, I didn't think about like
now
that part, but you're right.
I will say his power he has as a hunter.
Yes.
That he's cultivated.
Is cool.
Is his own.
I like that.
He did that himself, and they do make a mention of the fact that like he would have had to have honed his body like that in order to get this magic power in the first place. So even though he gets a huge boost right away, he did have to work to be able to contain it in the first place.
I'm so curious why men can't do magic.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know.
Because it's like even if they did, they're usually too weak, and it's like, what is it? Do the people not usually giving the challenges and not if they see a guy they're just like no,
maybe
they just do that? Is that what this is? The king was just the reverse of that finally? Like it just
single magic or every single witch we see is hot. So
they make a specific point to be like the fact that he has magic is like baffling to literally all of the witches because there's never been a dude witch.
But maybe the magics are like attracted to the women, so they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go hang out with this woman."
It's what's his name? It's the Cloud from One Piece that Nami kind of takes in. From
Zeus.
Big Mom. Yeah, Zeus. It reminds me of that a little bit, like, and kind of Big Mom's other things, but mostly Zeus and Nami of just like, hey, come help me.
By the way, I didn't get there yet.
Oh, I know you know things though.
I have approximate knowledge of
Exactly.
many things.
I knew that. That's why I went for it. And you had the name for me because you knew, because you have approximate knowledge of things, because you look up things for spoilers for things you're not reading to contain information in your brain. I know how you work. This manga's fine. I tried to go an open mind, and then I got steamy, and then I'm like, slow down, buddy. You already had this. So I'm coming in. This is actually going to be the thing that hit me the most was I'm going to make this episode a companion piece of our Demon Slayer episode.
Okay.
In that I've learned something there, and I'm using this as a tool. We have cut out the if we think it will survive or not. So I'm using some of the pieces of that to go, what are things that did survive and did well in Jump? What's in their chapter 1? And obviously everything's going to be more than their chapter 1. But like I'm caught up on Demon Slayer had a hook, a big hook and a small hook. It had the big hook of a demon killed my family and I need to seek revenge on that. I'm probably going to become whatever this Demon Slayer thing is we're talking about. And the small hook of my dear sister, the last remaining member of my family who is alive, is in need of medical attention. And there's stakes that she might die if like the sun hits her. I have to figure this out. There is a next chapter hook and there is a next, end game and or next book hook. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't have either of those.
Yeah.
It has and I don't like, I want to go back through the ones that we have read before and go, do these have big hook and little hook? Do they have a hook at all outside of curiosity? Because this has the curiosity hook of what is this world? We've set up all these proper nouns and systems, and like, you could have a curiosity of that, but like, how many systems have you been entranced with that you got excited about and ended up being duds?
So I'm going to actually then compare this to Bleach.
Ooh.
Because Bleach is doing the same thing. You're where right. They're just like, hey, there's all this complex stuff that's going on around you, but you just have this kid and he's doing his thing and look, he's strong. And then by the end of the chapter, he's got this crazy new power and he's going to explore this bigger world. And Bleach did, I think it did all right.
For itself. So maybe here we go. Here's my hypothesis, and my hypothesis has been proved with evidence that we already have on the podcast incorrect. I think I'm going to be still paying attention for that when we read these, I think only for Jump stuff. I don't think I'm going to do this for any of our extracurriculars.
Sure.
Just because it's just, this is what I'm comparing with the pillars and stuff. But I don't know. I like that he's a cool hunter guy. I think that's a fun tool set. I think learning his backstory already is weird. I don't think we needed that.
Well, I think
there's too much exposition in this chapter and it didn't need it all.
I think that's the thing that they're going to try and fill the hook with, is that why did he get abandoned in the first place? What's going on there?
Yeah, but they gloss over it, so I'm not really interested. I'm sure it'll become important at some point, but it's not I need to know that. It's I'll look up a forum on that. I don't feel like I need to read to get context to get there. Yeah. Which, it's chapter 1. I don't know. It's fine. It's just a little, it's a little overwrought for my taste. There's too much exposition. The art is good. It's got a style. It's a little busy at times.
I would have thought you liked the art.
It's fine. I think it's just because, magic, medieval magic stuff is on my this does nothing for me.
The costume he gets at the end.
The cowards did not give him a skirt like almost every other witch is wearing, and that's why it was an instant I'm not giving you any points. I'm not docking any points, but I'm not giving you any points because it was right there. You could have given him the skirt and moved him out of it later, and I would have been fine. But you were cowards and didn't give him the skirt.
Pants are so tight.
Give him the skirt. Put him in the tight shorts later. I don't care. Just come on. There's a big gender conversation. I don't want to have it. I'm tired. There's no point. That was one of the things where I'm I'm going to have a gender. No, don't. Cool laugh. There's nothing here. You already had another episode where you got up about something and it wasn't important. Chillax. That's what I went with. I'm going to go the Demon Slayer comparison and Hook instead. So
I do think that there's probably not enough in chapter 1 to say one way or another. This is going to depend heavily on the next probably 6 chapters.
I'm going to read the first 5 and then go from there. Right now, my needle is pointing towards I'm going to make it to 5 and stop because there's nothing here that's for me, and that's fine. but I think it's just okay. I'm gonna head to ratings, but let's go. The new segment that I need to name so I remember it better, also to write on the whiteboard. So, what is something we want to? What do we think will happen? I guess we haven't done that yet.
Well, I think they already set this up that they're going to put him into whatever school.
He's going to go to the magic school.
Yeah.
Is this just Mashal but less funny?
I don't think so. I think I can see a way for them to sort of short circuit the magic school arc, because he just absorbed the Magic King.
I don't think it's going to be an arc. I think it's the manga.
I hope not.
What was Mashal? Mashal was the school. There was other goings on, but like we're doing Harry Potter.
Right.
We're doing Harry Potter again.
But with Mashal, it was a
comedy
thing where they needed to go through being at school in order for him to, at least at the start, what they were trying to do was trick everybody and like, yes, it's real magic, right? Whereas here, there's nothing he needs to overcome besides they're going to probably want to experiment on him.
I mean, is this going to be more shonen or more, not literally isekai, but is it going to be isekai-like? Like, which path is it going to go? Are we going to spend more time at school, or are we going to just quick move on to the next thing because he's already the biggest and the best, because he's the man who has magic and also hunter stuff, and he has seemingly all the spells? I'm guessing.
The only way that I can see this going is that there is... So first of all, why is there a witches association in the first place? Like, why are there witch cops, right? There's going to be stuff
Are they cops?
Going on in the world. Yeah, they have a whole system where they're like, oh, the witches are coming. We're going to get to see. It's like...
It's a magical defense force. I don't want to call them... They were not called on people. They were called on a monster. It's like calling... my brain said pest control, but that's not what I want. They're called animal control. It's like calling animal control in this case. I don't know if there's other threats, though, I guess is the point.
But that's the thing. I think there's got to be other threats that he will have to take on in order to make this be anything. Because otherwise it's just, oh, he got power. Oh, he goes to the academy and they're like, yep, you're really powerful.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah. Brad, this is the question I always ask at all of your isekais where they started really powerful, and I go, and then what? If they're never troubled,
there's
what's
always an evil organization
you just keep going.
Or a god that they're going to fight.
We'll fight a man who none of the women could kill, but it has to be the man. So yeah, what is something you want to show up?
I don't know.
What is something you want to show up, or something you don't want it to lose?
I mean, I think they could probably do something interesting with the fact that he's a man. He's going to have to go to this academy that is specifically for girls. So there's going to be some fun, like, oh, wait, what are we going to do?
How many manga have we read from Jump where it's like, oh, it's a boy main character and he's nervous about girls?
I don't think he will be, though. I think they set this up.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a reason to be.
When he was talking to those girls who were leaving, he was like being really oblivious, where they were like, oh, you know,
it's going to be this is a secret backdoor harem manga.
I mean, maybe.
Hope not. I don't want that.
It could be.
I don't want that. Every potential future thread has your stink on it. They're all different stinks, but they all stink, and I don't like it. This is what makes me very, like, approach with caution of this one. Of like, I'll do 5, but I have a real strong gut feeling I'm not going to want to do more than that. But, like, it hasn't... I don't think it's open to what it's going to be. I hope he doesn't lose his hunterness. I like, because that was the thing that dawned on me now that I'm sitting here talking to you. What does death mean, death to a man that has magic?
I mean, at the very, the title page was like, I want to hunt all the creatures. So maybe that's where it's going to go.
Is this just going to be Magical Monster Hunter?
Maybe.
I think that's more interesting.
Or they could mix all of this stuff together.
What does it mean that it's the king of magics? Or is it just because he was like a big dude? He was just the dude.
I guess we'll have to find out.
I don't know. His design was kind of whatever, which is what makes me not like super excited about more. But it's one design, so it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to see. It's like, this man kills with knives and traps and ropes. What if he had like fire or water or ice spells? What if he had a magic gun? Like, what happens now?
They did make a point of him trapping the Magic King in,
I did like that. And this like
trap.
Super underground rope trap.
Yeah.
That was insane and cool.
So, I mean, it would be a shame if they just let that go.
Yeah. I hope we don't lose that. I want to spend as little time as possible talking about gender. Today I'm tired about it. I don't want this manga to try to talk about it that much.
I think
unless it has something to say that's meaningful, by and large it's like I'd rather you just didn't do that much.
They'll obviously have to discuss some stuff.
They have to discuss something, but I don't want it to spend too much time with it.
I don't know that they'll specifically need to make any commentaries though.
No, that's fine.
So
I don't know. Like it's some of that is like it's not like 100% worried, but it's just this like, I don't want to do that. I'm tired and don't want to talk about that anymore in this context. So what? We said what we wanted, what we think will happen. Is there anything you want to not go forward anymore?
I don't think that's a good question for me. I'm too open about everything.
I don't think there's anything I have in particular. It's mostly of just like...
You just said.
Yeah, I guess. The one bit of his backstory, it's like I'm vaguely curious about it, but it's like I don't know what crux it's going to be. Maybe it's just because he's a hunter, but it reminded me of Hunter x Hunter, where it's just like, instead of Gon's dad leaving for smokes, he left Gon in the forest and went back home. He left Gon for smokes.
I'm sure he's going to have some secret origin that's going to be...
Yep.
Some amazing reveal.
My mom is the super witch from the times past, and she was supposed to have a daughter, but she didn't. She had me, so she left me in the forest.
Yeah.
And I lived, bitch. It's lame. That's lame. It's fine. I guess with me saying that, it's time for I guess quick draw is for when we... No, quick draw is for feelings still, right?
Yeah.
How are you? I guess I've said my thing. It's fine. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. I think it is like fine. It is serviceable. Where are you?
I'm going to tentatively call this great.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're getting fed, so
I like what I'm seeing so far. There's definitely a path where it can go wrong, but I'm gonna be optimistic about it.
I mean, it's the hook that I said. Curiosity more than anything. Of like first chapter is so full of exposition. I'd love to keep track of to see their life death rate, because this is like so much exposition that I don't think it needed all at once. I think you could. I know we're getting backwards. I think we could have sat on what death for death truly meant for at least a couple chapters.
I was thinking something that I didn't mention. There's some good humor in here. There was a couple parts where, because it was fairly like normal for the most part, but they interjected. There was a couple spots here and there that were like, oh, that's funny. I chuckled out loud. The interaction that he has with the Magic King after he like traps him and everything, the Magic King is like actually freaking out, and there's like some of the chibi stuff and all that. I was like, oh, that's funny.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. I know I keep coming back to that, but it's just like I don't have anything else. But I'm curious to see where it goes, because I think it's been a hot minute since we've had a writer-artist team up.
I feel way better about this than I do about Kokuto Necromance.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Which, if anybody has been reading that, ended very strangely.
Oh.
I recommend reading it just for like the historical value of it, because it's weird.
There are many different endings to jump things. Sometimes we fast forward to the end. Sometimes we do a big middle finger. Sometimes we leave it open-ended. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Shonen Flop episode for that.
I'll get to it then. We didn't do... would you pay money for a tankobon of this?
I think probably.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I keep forgetting this is the thing that you like to eat is a thing that I don't care for, which is why these are always interesting conversations.
Assuming $10 for volume 1.
Yeah. 9 to 10 chapters and an author's notes and artist notes, I guess, as well.
If I had, picked this up in a bookstore and read the first chapter, I'd buy it.
I would not, but I would ask you not to borrow it, but I would ask you how it went and then determine from there, which kind of breaks it a little bit, but I would not spend money to keep going on this. The hook is not strong enough.
Well, hopefully one of the next two is going to be one
hopefully
for
one
you.
of the next two. I don't know anything about them. I didn't look up the names. I've been keeping out of the news cycle, but for the next 2 weeks, you're going to have us covering them literally hours after they drop. We don't get to sleep on these at all.
It'll be days, except for our patrons.
Ooh. Well, I mean,
We'll
recording-wise, it will be hours.
But yeah, all the patrons get the high-quality stereo version early. So if you wanna get it at most a day after we record it, for these ones anyway, make sure you get signed up there.
Being steaming hot off the presses.
Yeah.
And with that, we're at the end of the episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And Brad, hit me with those plugs.
Well, as always, we want to thank Sugoi Mart for being a partner. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. All kinds of stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can click the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. Of course, we want to know what you think, so find us on social media, which you can find all the links for on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com. We have all the episode posts up there, so if you want, you can go leave a review up there, or you can hit us up on any of that social media, or find us on Discord, which is the best way to chat with us. And as I mentioned, we've got a Patreon. Our supporters get perks. As I said, you get the high-quality stereo version early, but we also have polls for what we're going to cover on heroin addiction, as well as bonus episodes. So be sure to check that out. Of course, we got to shout out our patrons. At our Reincarnator tier, we've got Cake Dwarf and Moon. At our Merchant tier, we've got Kill Hour. And last but not least, at our Commoner tier, we've got Rena. Maybe by the next time we record next week, maybe we'll have someone else to add. Who knows? But thanks so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you once again, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to the other shows on our podcast feed. We've got a new one coming up at the end of the month, hopefully. And, Brad, were you looking at me funny? Death for death! Death for death!
But we still got Astro Baby.
We still do have Astro Baby.
No.
And I'm very happy about that. We still have Astro.
I'll do this again.
Seeing you get angry, and I'll let you run out again.
But we've still got... God damn it.
We still have Baby Astro.
Okay.
It's the most striking. It was the most striking thing in the chapter because it's just there. He's got it. It's like his keep calm and carry on sign in his big hunting lodge. Just death for death, and it like kicks in like a fucking stand ability. It's great.
Yeah.